Good morning and welcome to a beautiful Sunday morning in the mountains of P.E.H Pueblo, where the fog is just now going down gently. This morning you could see basically just we were above the clouds. It was beautiful. Today's a beautiful day because what I've been noticing, and it really makes me happy and actually giggle a lot, because I know I can really help with this particular subject because I've been through it time and time again till I really got it and understood it. And that's probably one of the reasons why I make these videos. Somebody said to me, Mark, this is how deep some people get, and I love that. Some people say to me, Mark, why do you make self-help videos when people have to go through what they have to experience anyway? That's a blooming good point. Because my philosophy about life is that we have to experience everything, so why stop them? I think the reason why I think there's always a bigger picture than what we think one thing is, and there's always other things in between everything. See, we work so narrow-mindedly that we think one thing is what it is, which is label or putting into a box, and that's it. And it becomes easy for us, so it's almost like a laziness, whereas it becomes more challenging and more of a stressful, possibly, thought process, that we have to look at more things and more reasons. Could it possibly be that there is no real answer than that everything that you do and everything we do is the answer at any given moment? That blows everything out of the window. You know, I used to say once, I don't even know why you bothered, because everything's just an illusion anyway. Ultimately, that's true. Why do we bother? But that's another subject. Today's subject is a really interesting one. Sorry, I babble too much these days. Today's subject is about your awakening and why others do not believe that you are awakening. Now, this is such a profound subject because so many of you ask me that question all the time. There are so many answers to it, but I'm going to give you many for instances, or maybe a few, but maybe try and couple that with some stories. Just give me a second. Okay, here goes. Once I met a gentleman who walked through the door. He had experienced a traumatic 2 years of his life of being very successful as a film director. And out of luck, or bad luck, whatever you want to call it, he ended up living on the streets, losing his job and everything going wrong through no fault of his own. That's called the story of life, right? They're the best stories, the ones where you're in most pain. So he was brought to me because somebody found him on the streets and helped him and took him in and looked after him and said, there's a guy up in the mountains that I think might be able to help you. So he sat in front of me and I read for him and gave him a healing. He took my card and left. 3 years later, I had a phone call, and it was this very man saying, do you know what I have in my wallet? And I said, no. He said, I have your business card. It's never left my side. And he said, I made a promise to myself when I left the room after your reading that changed my life, and that one day I would come back and repay you, because I didn't charge him, of course. And I said, you don't need to do that. He says, yes, I do, and honour this. So I said, what do you want me to do? He says, well, I'm going to fly over and I'm going to make a short documentary because I want the world to see who you are. At that point, I laughed and said, look, that ain't going to happen. I've had Kerry Katona come to my studio with film cameras when she was doing the Fly on the Wall documentary, like Peter Andre. And we did a reading, and all the film crew were crying, and they all had a reading after and said, this is going to make you a star. And I turned around and said, Spirit will never let this happen. And sure enough, a few months later, just before they were going to air that particular series, Kerry fell out with the producers, and it all fell through. And this has been the story of my life. So he said, no, I'm coming. And I said, okay, you come, with open arms. So he put a Facebook message out. And that Facebook message was to tell my clients and friends, if anybody would like to come, to just say a few words that they felt having a session with Mark may have helped them. It was really funny, because the people who came uttered the same words at the very end. With Mark, what you see is what you get. And they all said the same thing, almost like it was scripted. But actually the stories, what they told, weren't scripted, because we were all crying when we played back the video, because I wasn't in the room. I didn't hear. You can actually see some of the clips on YouTube under Mark Bayersky about Mark. You can see a few of them clips from the people who had healed from lumps in their breast of cancer and things like that, and things that had happened to people, that they had chronic illnesses and huge migraines that they could never get rid of, which cleared after sessions and stuff. So they were quite profound. Some of them, the most profound, were the ones that just said I was a nice guy and I was genuine, and that made me cry more than anything. The other stuff is just the other stuff. That's them healing themselves and the belief system within me, that's all. But when we're coming to the interesting part now. This is why I said this story. The interesting part is, when this man had gone out of his way to do this free of charge from his heart, and he put it out there, guess what happened? I lost about 400-500 friends. And there was one particular lady who was meant to be one of the most liked spiritual leaders that people look up to, sent me an inbox message and said, I can't believe that you've done this ego video and that you have paid actors to lie. I think that was probably one of the most painful moments of my life, because out of love of what somebody had done and felt after his reading, that now people were judging me, and even the most spiritual people were judging me. And it was a great lesson. So from my perspective, at that moment, I realized one of two things. I felt in my heart that it wasn't important to share the information on what he'd done. It wasn't really important. And that it would always cause either a really bad weakness in other people, because they cannot find in themselves that very thought process that they can be or do what I do, which anybody can do, because for the past 13 years I've been sharing this information with people, and after 4 days they become amazing healers, and they send me messages every day how I help somebody with this chronic disease and that. Yeah, it's normal. But yet the most spiritual people, who I thought would have really understood the message, they were actually the worst. Now, when you take that on board and you look at the bigger picture to why people call you, because you're opening up into a spiritual self and you're being you, because before you weren't you, you were pretending to be something else, like we all did. Until we find our truth, and that may be because we end up with a disease, that we're ill, it ends up that we may have split up from a partner, that something's gone terribly wrong, which is actually terribly right, because the hardest things are the biggest blessings, as somebody said. on the last YouTube channel I did. I scrolled down and think that's absolutely true. The most painful moments are the biggest blessings because we see the most. So what I gathered from all of that was, for me, this is the second part. Nothing matters. Nothing truly matters about what they think about me. Unless I'm focused on what they're saying and thinking, then that matters. But in the end, it doesn't matter. Because if I make that matter, all that happens then is that matter energy. That then I focus on and create and build and build. And all it does is fuel their fear. Because what's truly happening on their side is that they fear the change in anything, the change in you. You must have heard this before when two people come together and marry and then one says, "Oh, you've changed." I love that. Makes me laugh because what I always find fascinating with that one is that two people come together and then this guy tries to change this woman, and then when she changes, he says, I don't like you, you've changed." Your bloody fault. Nah, I'm only kidding. But you know what I mean. So what I'm trying to say is ultimately, it is a blessing when people find it difficult and don't believe you. And actually, it's a really massive compliment because that means you are changing. That means you are actually making a difference and you are shaking the foundations of other people's comfort zones. Oh, don't do that. I don't like you like that. I like you like before. Be like you used to be because it made me feel happy. No. I think what I'll be is me. And I like the change in me. Just like I like the change in you. I like the change in you because every day when you send me messages, I can see you growing stronger. Oh, I fell up, but I jumped back up again and I'm better now. Oh, that didn't take long. I know, I'm getting stronger. You are. You're getting better. You're getting used to it. You're getting, practice makes perfect. How many times I fall? Doesn't matter. Millions. But you know what? I'm getting good at getting back up. Good for you. Change is inevitable. It is only the suffering of people who believe that they have got depression, sad syndrome, that actually are only stuck because they dare not move forward into the powerful you. And that is the ultimate. You have to keep changing and becoming who you're meant to be. Each day you are growing in many different ways. And that's what makes you special. There is no stop. There is no end. There is no full stop. It is a continuation of the beautiful you expanding in the way that you do so well. So when you feel bad, just think about this. Flick the switch and say, am I stopping myself from expanding? Am I stopping myself from being the better me every day? The more powerful me, the more amazing me. And if you listen deep within, you'll normally find it's true. Or somebody's trying to stop you because you're influenced by somebody else. So today, do me a favor. Don't give a goddamn what people say and think and feel about you. Just do what makes you feel right, no matter what the outcome will be. Just do it. And just watch your magic, because that's where magic lies. So today, let's both get up off our bum and just do something for ourselves. I hope some of this made sense to you guys. Mr. Blabla is now signing off. Do that a lot now, don't I? Don't even know what it means. Is it two rabbits? I think I used to be in my past life a puppet master. Okay, guys, love you all. Have a great, great day. From my heart to yours. Here, grab this. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.